The logline for a film Confined is about a gang of 3 who abduct claustrophobic people and set each of the individuals a life-threatening task and have limited time to complete it whilst they are inside what they fear most, a confined space. This is our treatment. The film starts in an abandoned flat from the point of view of a CCTV camera in black and white and has a high-angle shot of claustrophobic teen victim Michael Jones, who will be played by Emmanuel Carriere, who is wearing a jumper and blue jeans and has wires all around him inside a lift. In this shot, we see him looking up and then banging on the door, which is then followed by a close-up shot of Michael crying and apologizing for failing the task as the lift door finally opens, which is emphasized with a non-diegetic sound effect of a lift opening sound. An eyeline match sequence begins when the lift door opens, showcasing a long shot of Tanya Khan, who will be played by Tasnim Siddiqa, wearing a bandana on her head and a dark jacket, standing next to a bundle of wires. The following shot is a close-up shot of a fearful Michael, who is sweating, nodding his head while slowly shuffling backwards. This cuts to a medium shot of Tanya looking at him, then drawing out her gun at Michael.
This cuts to the title appearing on the screen, which is emphasized by a non-diegetic sound effect of a gunshot, followed by a close-up shot of Michael video blogging a past event just before his death. Michael states in the video that he is being chased by a gang. He then runs with the camera in a point of view shot briefly, showcasing Tanya and her gang, 2 male members, who are behind him. Michael sounds extremely out of breath here, and the camera he's holding briefly films again. Tanya and the gang running after him, who are catching up with Michael. This cuts to a long shot of Tanya catching up with Michael and then covering his mouth with a cloth.
Next we see a blinking effect of him waking up inside the lift in a point of view shot, followed by a cut shot of his hand handcuffed securely to the handle of the bar lift. He tries to break free but fails. In a medium shot, he reaches for the lift buttons and then sees a sign over it saying, "Don't press that button unless you want to die." And then we see a close-up shot of his eyes looking at it again, this time showing fear. Michael then looks at the lift doors and bangs them with his free hand, then noticing the sign above him. An island match sequence forms again when the sign and him exchange looks. The sign reads, "The only way out is to cut the correct wire before the time runs out." There's another long shot of Michael finding something behind him. 3 pieces of wires and a stopwatch, which is already counted down from 30 seconds. He then screams, which is a close-up shot, and he can't stay here because he's claustrophobic, but tries to do the instruction anyway. Michael gets sweaty and tries to figure out which wire to cut. A close-up shot of his sweat dripping is denoted as it hits the ground. This is emphasized with a non-diegetic water drop sound, which is heard. The non-diegetic sound of his heart beating fast is heard, and he continues to figure out which of the correct wire. An island match sequence happens again as both the stopwatch and him exchange looks. The stopwatch is nearing to 0. The following shot is of Tazim looking at Michael's BlackBerry phone, which is connected to the black and white CCTV camera. The next shot is from the point of view of the CCTV camera as a high-angle shot in the lift, which notes Michael breathing heavily and cutting the wrong wire.
In this following medium shot, Michael looks around and sees nothing is happening to him and sighs in relief. He puts his head backwards and then looks up at the ceiling of the lift, which is a high-angle shot. An eyeline match sequence forms again as he sees the sign saying the correct wire is the shorter one, which is put into an anagram for Emmanuel to solve, and then there is a close-up shot of Michael's scared face as he cut the longer wire.
The overview of the whole film is about a series of individual deaths of claustrophobic people, if they fail the task that is, and the first 2 victims do fail the task, and that includes Michael Jones. The police forces investigates these crimes, and at the end, claustrophobic people police officer Amelia Smith dies after being caught by Tanya Khan, phoning the police even though she succeeds the task.
Now we will skim through our presentation of characters and casting.
Click to exit full screen at the top.
All the actors involved in our film opening. First claustrophobic victim is Michael Jones, who will be played as Emmanuel Carriere, who is a teen who suffered from claustrophobia ever since he was 7 years old after being stuck inside a small classroom cupboard for the whole day by one of the school bullies in his school. Tanya Khan was played by Tazim Siddiqa, who has had a very bad childhood experience, child abuse, and knew both of her parents and then ran away after having enough of being abused. For her, it's revenge on claustrophobic people in general, but doesn't want to kill her victims straight away because she wants to test them on fear of confined spaces. For the other gang members, we'd like to have Barris and Daniel to play them because they are both reliable. Emmanuel as the most prominent actor of the opening because he does drama and love acting, and Tazim as the villain because we wanted to subvert the stereotype that is usually a male who plays a villain. We wanted to be a bit original by having a female villain.
Now we will skim through our presentation of inspirations. The main films we got inspired by were the Saw franchise and Phone Booth. Saw because we based Tanya's character on John Cranmer, the villain of the Saw franchise, because he sets life-threatening tasks on his victim. We also got inspired by Phone Booth in terms of both our film and Phone Booth have one massive common theme, which is claustrophobia.
Lastly, we will show you our mood board.
The costumes for me, Michael Jones, I'll be wearing a jumper and blue jeans, and for the gang, they'll be wearing dark clothes and bandanas.
For the setting, we'll be using a dark tunnel in Brady Street. We've chosen to use this because the lighting in there is originally dark, so it will be fit for purpose, and we'll be doing the lift sequence in Wellington Road, which is in Sharian's flat.
In Columbia Road, for when Emmanuel runs. For props, we're going to use a lot of wires because that's part of the task for Emmanuel's character. He's going to cut one. We're going to use the gun because Tassim's character basically shoots Emmanuel's character. We're going to use a cloth to make Emmanuel unconscious. We're going to use the water bottle to make Emmanuel quite sweaty. We're going to use a handcuff to tie Emmanuel to the handlebar of the lift. We're going to use Emmanuel's BlackBerry phone because he's going to video vlog an event whilst he's being chased. We're also going to use a scissor to make for Emmanuel's character to cut a wire. We're going to use the black tape to cover all the lift buttons. We're going to use the paper to make all the task sheets in the lift so Emmanuel knows what he's doing, and the stopwatch because Emmanuel has limited time to do the task.
We're using the dark tunnel to reflect my mood and the whole atmosphere, and the other scenes will be lighter due to natural lighting outside, and there are lights in the lift for effect.
We found some orchestral type music that sounds really dramatic and fit with the atmosphere.
And for sound effects, we're going to use a gunshot noise, a lift door opens noise, and a heartbeat noise to make it much more tense for Emmanuel's character. He's really feeling the pressure for the task he's set. And the water drop sound is used as part of his sweat. And that's it.
Thank you.
Please, 45 minutes.
Alright.